All right, so 13 years ago is when I decided I was going to up and move from the small town in Illinois and go to Los Angeles, California to pursue my big dream of becoming I don't know, recording engineer, record producer, mostly recording engineer. Actually, I thought I wanted to be a mixer. Wow, it's incredible how quickly that evolved into recording engineer and how much it's evolved since then. But the question of the day is, am I doing this right? Now, why would I be asking that question? Well, if you're anything like me, sometimes I feel like, whether you're in a studio or you're in your home studio or you don't even work in music, whatever it is, you get this feeling, I get it like twice a year, that I'm putting in a lot of work and time. And sometimes I just feel like I'm not getting the proportional output from how much I'm putting in. And I want to talk about that and why I think that happens, and maybe a better question to ask instead of, am I doing this right? That can be really helpful is, am I doing this well? And because if you ask that question, that is something that you can track and measure and actually adjust and then do it well and accomplish whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Now, usually when I get to the point of asking myself this stupid question of, am I doing this right? It's generally following the collapse of certain good habits and routines. And I want to talk about healthy, good, productive habits and routines that I use that help me here in the studio and in my life, both with my business and with my work, and share them with you because every time I stick to those good habits and routines, things get a lot better. And there is such a higher output from the input that I'm putting into my work. And hopefully me sharing this gives you some sort of value and you can try to replicate it in your own way in your life. Okay. Habits and routines. Now, in the music production and recording studio world, health and well-being are probably not at the forefront of too many people's minds. Now, I hope this is not true, but I think it is true. I think a lot of people are just grinding and putting in a lot of work and sometimes feel overwhelmed and like they're not getting, the results they feel like they should be getting for the amount of work that they're putting in. So first, let's talk about the value of putting into place some good habits and routines. Before I share with you the habits and routines that I'm doing, you need to understand what is the reason you're doing the stuff that you're doing, right? You got to have some mission or some goal that you're trying to accomplish. And this is something that I try to reflect on often. What are my goals? There's sort of like micro goals, like this week I have 3 sessions and I've got to do these videos and content and clickbait and thumbnails and plus I'm a dad and a husband. We have all of the things that are involved with our family, and that's a lot. So the habits and the routines really help me actually grasp the different things that I need to do to accomplish those goals. But you can't put anything into place if you don't know what your goals are. So having some sort of evaluation of what are your goals, and you can maybe categorize them, because certainly you have more than one goal. And when categorizing them, I think it's really good to have different buckets of goals, because if you're having a hard time reaching one goal and that's the only one you're focused on and you're not reaching it as fast as you want, it's going to have some impact on your mental health. And then that is going to then affect all of the other work that you do. So let's say the first category is health focused. Maybe you want to lose some weight, maybe you want to eat better, maybe you want to build some muscle, go for a run, just walk, move your body more, get out of the control room occasionally. That can be one category of goals. Maybe 2 is, let's say you're a songwriter, you want to write more songs, you need to write something, right? So let's put a measurable number to it. You wrote a certain number of ideas per day or lines per day or however you want to go about it, right? So songwriting may be a category. If you're a producer and you want to make beats or tracks or put together ideas, scratch, whatever it is, put a measurable number to that. For me, I'm running a business where I'm doing too many things. So I have to really categorize this where it's like YouTube videos, podcast, I'm doing like studio tours, and then I'm doing remote drum sessions. We're doing mixing, we're doing production on songs. And then I also have like products, drum samples, I have courses, I have these other products that don't sell themselves. So it's like, that's also a part of my job. And how do you focus on all this stuff? Here's where the habit and the routine comes in and is massively helpful. And the most effective habit that I found is writing. And writing all of this down can help deduce and give you some direction as to what you should do and for how long you want to do it. And then you can track that over time. What I'll like to do is I'll start with those goals, and I try to evaluate those goals, the progress on them, as often as possible to then adjust my habits to make sure I'm moving in the direction I need to be moving in. And when I can cross stuff off, you can see, wow, I did that. Hey, I actually achieved that goal so much faster than I thought I could. That is very good for your mental health and your ability to then be productive and feel good about what you're doing, and see like, hey, actually, maybe I didn't complete this thing yet, but I have done this, and this, and I'm seeing a lot of progress. So that's really good. So the writing thing is great. Now, I won't linger too long on this because I don't want this to be an hour-long video. But what I will do is essentially create sort of a daily must list of stuff that I want to do every single day. And this list can be, whatever applies to your goals, right? Here's how I prioritize it. I try to prioritize it with something that I really don't want to do or that I don't enjoy doing. Do that first, but with the caveat of just do it for like 5 minutes. If you can just do it for 5 minutes, then you at least put 5 minutes towards it every single day. And you're going to make some serious progress by at least doing 5 minutes per day. And then also, that was just 5 minutes. You can move on to whatever the next thing is. And by getting that thing out of the way, you already have some momentum moving forward with everything else you need to do. And that is huge. Now, let's say from a studio perspective, I've got to tune some vocals, I've got to edit some drums, I've got to send some files, got to reply to emails. Like, this list can be all of these things. I got to follow up with this person about an invoice or about scheduling a session or whatever it is. Putting all that stuff down on your daily checklist and getting it marked off, it's going to make you feel a little bit better. It makes me feel a lot better seeing the things that are just kind of kicking around in my head. And then seeing them, I don't have to think about it. I can just do it and then cross it right off. And then I feel super good because I start my day very, very early here in the studio. And when I get in, I cross a lot of this stuff off early in the day. And then I feel like, wow, I have the rest of the day to work on these other things. Now, what's left? Okay, well, this is going to take a couple hours to do this particular thing. And then going through this list, you can structure it in an order that goes after the different categories of goals that you have. Let's say for me is making a video that I really want to make. All right, that's one category of to-do list. And let's say finishing a session-related project I'm working on. That's another category of things. But I also have health stuff. I'm trying to take care of my physical health, and because my physical health is so tightly correlated with my mental health and my ability to be productive and feel good about what I'm doing, which then motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing and want to do more and want to do better and this and that. So I'll break up, let's say, the video and the session work with like, just eat. After you eat, go on a quick walk. Come back, do some stretching. So breaking up these different tasks that I have to do with, let's call it 5 minutes. 5 minutes, you walked around the block. Hey, you curbed that glucose spike after you ate, You came in, you stretched. I'm making progress, and seeing that progress reminds me every single day with every single thing that I'm doing, hey, I'm doing it. I am doing it well. I am working towards this goal. I am doing the things that I want to do. I'm literally crossing it off. And there is a serious dopamine bump that you get when you cross things off that you need to do. Also, it gives you insight on like, well, how much time do I really need to put towards this thing? Because maybe in your head, it just feels like it's going to take a long time to do it. But then when you get going, you realize like, oh, actually, I didn't even need 10 minutes to work on this. I did it in 5 or whatever. Or vice versa. Maybe you put 5 minutes down and you hit a flow state and you're just like, I'm going to keep going. Let's do this until I run out of juice here. I find both of those scenarios happen with me quite often, which, by the way, let's talk about this routine habit thing here, because there's a couple things I want to talk about this. First off, whatever your habits and routines you want to structure should always taking you closer to your goals, right? But what I will say is don't be dogmatic or rigid with them. Don't write it down and just feel like it has to be that 100% of the time. Adjust. This is essentially a framework to show up to work every day as to like, these are the things I need to do. Here's where I can start, right? But if you don't do it exactly how it's written, that's okay. Just adjust it. Take notes. Hey, actually, this only took this long. Or you know what? I spent more time on this. I haven't done this yet. I'm going to do this later this afternoon because this needs to happen first. It's literally just a framework, and having a system that is adjustable, that still helps you accomplish your goals, but is measurable and you can see it, that's going to help you like move towards what you need to accomplish, right? So with that being said, my routine, I come in very early. Today I was here at like 5:30 in the morning. It's still dark at that time. Now we're coming into fall. And what I do, I have my coffee maker set. I usually have like a before I do anything routine, which is like open up the studio. I think I use the Pure Focus Apple Music playlist in the background in the, let's call it the lobby, the living room of this house. And then I get my drinks and I get ready to do, I do stretching, and then I do like some sit-ups to get my blood flowing a little bit. And then what I'll do is I'll sit down and I'll do my writing routine. Now, with the writing routine, because I'm a coffee addict, I'm trying to balance the coffee with some healthier stuff. So one, I will have my hydro flask with water. Something about putting it in a hydro flask tricks me into drinking water because it looks like coffee. And then I also do these shots. These are like nootropic health mental performance shots. It's just a super simple ingredients list of organic supplemental greens, mushrooms, vitamins, nutrients, things like that. It's a very simple thing. It's called Magic Mind. It's very lucky that they have sponsored this channel. So if you are interested, I'll put a link. You can try their 7-day challenge, and there's a discount just because you're watching this video down in the description. So I would urge you to check that out. They are actually delicious. I do wish they were a little bit bigger because they are so delicious. But I drink them in the morning before I do my writing because part of the idea here is it has nootropics in it, which help sort of like mental performance. And when it's early in the morning, your brain is just working so much better than it is, let's say, late at night or in the middle of the day after you've, spent a bunch of time doing other stuff, especially for me. My brain is firing on all cylinders first thing in the morning. So getting my blood pumping by moving my body, sitting down, having my drinks ready, my cup of coffee ready to go. I sit down and then I go through my checklists and my writing routine. And I check on my goals and I'll go through the different things that I need to write about or think about or plan. And then after the writing routine, it informs me on what my to-do list for the day is. For example, I'm writing courses, so I'll spend 10 minutes writing on whatever the current course is, or a video, or thinking about who am I going to do a studio tour with, or anything like that. This writing habit moves me closer to accomplishing the goals. And whatever your goals are, I promise you this will help you get closer to it. The benefit of this is it just helps you stay focused, and then it actually gives you momentum where you can accomplish both your short-term day-to-day goals as well as moving in the direction of your long-term goals. Okay, next point, creating a system for efficiency. Okay, so working in music and in recording studios is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of systems. Now that I have this whole studio going, there is a lot of things like lists and things to do. For example, the kitchen in the studio. There's supplies for the kitchens. I'll have the interns, I'll say, hey, I need you to go on a run to get these supplies. And then I go into the kitchen and I go, I got to make a list. At some point I realized like, this is stupid. I have you get the same things every single time. Let's just make a supply list. And then when you get here, just check for what's not there. And then I don't have to come in and make a list every single time something's out, right? So creating a system for that. And then you can apply that towards everything. Systems like input sheets, right? For the studio, if you have microphones going to inputs and patch bays, you have a patch bay outline, you have an input sheet, how you things connected. Recall sheets, you do a mix, you're using hardware, have some recall sheets. Oh, work orders, you're doing sessions, have a document for the work order. What's the client name? What's the date? What song did you work on? What did you do? What did you use? Then if you have recall sheets, you could put the recall sheets or photos or whatever all in with the work orders. This is kind of like more running a studio situation, but Having systems like that makes it so much simpler. One, because you don't have to take up a mental space thinking about every single thing you need to do every single time. You've already created a system for that. Creating different systems for efficiency is going to make the day-to-day so much better, and it covers your butt in the future when you need to remember what you did 2 weeks ago and you can't remember. You've got a way to document it and look back on it. Oh yeah, we did this. I used this on it. It was for this many hours. This is the person who was my point of contact. All of that. I can't begin to tell you how important that is for my mental ability to focus and get anything done. So if you can create a system that helps you do some of these repetitive things, it's going to prevent unnecessary stress and help you improve overall efficiency. And then lastly, have some sort of accountability. If it's a weekly or monthly thing, I think weekly is better because you don't want to give yourself too much time to fall out of these habits or routines. So just take a look back at the week. What did you accomplish? What didn't you accomplish? Why? What can you change? What are you doing that you don't need to do anymore? Things like that. Adjust it. So that way you don't get burnt out on it. You don't feel obligated to do something that you're not enjoying or that's not working. Having that accountability is going to be crucial towards this working for you. So by creating these new habits and routines and systems, I've been able to sort of reframe that am I doing this right existential quarterly crisis to am I doing this well, and just remind myself to just keep going, look back at what my goals are, and make sure that I'm moving in the direction that I want to be moving in. So hopefully that helps you. Let me know what you think down below. What are you working on? What are your goals? What are some of your systems and things that you've learned that have been beneficial? If you want to try the Magic Mind 7-day challenge, check out the link down below for a discount. It is absolutely delicious and does really help me get into that flow state when I'm writing. I want to thank them for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.